Audience research is how many people are listening to a radio or television within the audience. I have used this type of research before when planning my music video, as I had to research into how to relate a certain genre to a specific audience. Also, I'll be doing this in future projects such as the documentary unit, as I will have to find out how to approach the audience for the documentary, such as the mode of address. Audience data is a measure of the amount of people watching shows or listening. Audience data can be quantitative and secondary research. The type of techniques that can be used are questionnaires and surveys. Also, with secondary research, you are able to use the internet to see the exact number of the audience that is watching the show. I have used this in my work during the research stage of my music video unit, as to see how many people have watched the video and also where they're from and what gender they are. This will benefit the artists themselves, that they are able to get a wider range of who they're aiming their music towards and how to relate it to them more. Audience profiling is the lifestyle of a consumer, which is mainly used for advertisement, such as when creating a new products such as magazines and albums, etc. The type of method used for this would be primary research, as it makes your research more reliable, and the type of techniques used would be primary photographs and observation, as this way you will know exactly how your audience lifestyle is. I've used this method before during my multimedia camera unit, as we had to know how to appeal to a British audience and what sort of things we had to include in our live day. Demographic research is a numeracy data relating to the population of certain groups. Demographics is also used for marketing and broadcasting and focuses around age, social class, gender, ethnicity and languages, etc. The type of method used would be quantitative research, as you're able to get solid statistics on a number in certain groups. Also secondary research, as you'll be able to search the internet for any previous or present data. In the future, I will use this for my advertising unit, as I will be able to research into the numbers of the chosen chocolate and see the statistics of how well this product does in the market and how to apply it to when it comes to creating my own advertisement. Geomographics research provides information on people who live in specific areas and also analyzes specific groups such as age, gender, social groups, income rate, and ethnicity. The method used would be quantitative research, as this will include doing surveys and questionnaires on the audience so that you learn more about them. I have used this method during my pre-production stage of my music video unit, as I had to find out what type of people like that music genre and how it appeals to them, so that I know exactly how to portray that genre across to the audience through my music video. Consumer behaviour is studying individuals or groups and how they choose and dispose of products. The type of research method used would be primary research, and a technique of this would be observation. Also quantitative data, and for that method the technique you would use would be questionnaires. This is done so that the contributor knows if the audience likes the project, and if they don't, the producer will have to change things about their product so that it's able to appeal to the audience. As when it comes to researching chocolate bars, I will have to find out what makes it likeable and also what makes it dislikable, and how to get it across to my target audience. Consumer attitudes is when the consumer has a positive or negative attitude towards the product. The attitudes of the consumer can have a high possibility of affecting the market. The method that is used for consumer attitudes will be primary research, and the techniques that will be used will be observation and small discussion groups, as this way you get what the audience likes straight away. I have used this during the planning stage of my music video, as I had to pitch my idea and then receive feedback from my peers on what they liked about it and disliked, and areas that I could improve upon. Audience awareness is when you know detailed information about your target audience, so that you are able to create a product that meets their standards, and also taking in consideration what your audience likes and dislikes. The type of research method used would be secondary research, and the techniques that would be used would be internet research. I've used this during past units, such as creating a multimedia camera live day, as we all had to put in suitable content that was appropriate for the target audience, such as it was aimed towards British teenagers, so we had to make sure that the presenter used the correct mode of address. Market research is gathering and analysing information about a market and a product. Market research also looks into their customers so that they are able to get a better understanding of who their audience is and who they're aiming their product to. I will use this method in future projects such as my chocolate advertisements, as I was looking to existing markets that are already promoting the product and how they are doing it, and rating it to the audience. With this, I'll be able to find ways of how to make the advertisement more effective and get the audience's attention more than previous adverts. Product market is a part of who you're aiming your product to, and is also when your product has been bought and sold and how they are sold into households. The type of method used for this would be secondary research, and the technique used would be looking at existing market results, past and present, and also from information on the internet. I've used this method before when researching into horror trailers, as I had to understand what conventions are included in horror movies, as this helped me when it came to the production stage of my own trailer. Me and my partner knew what to include so it's suitable for the correct target audience. Competition is when two people or groups go against each other, and in marketing, competition is considered when companies compete to have the best product. The type of research method used is secondary research, and a technique used is looking at existing data of your competition, as this will give you an advantage when it comes to promoting your own product. I've used this method during sessions of when me and my peers give each other feedback on our work, such as during the planning stages of our music video pitches and also our multi-camera shows, as this way the feedback allows us to think of ideas that we haven't thought of but our peers have, and how we could use this to our advantage when it comes to creating our final production. Competitor analysis is gathering information of the strengths and weaknesses of current competitors. This allows the opposition to gain a knowledge that will benefit them into planning strategies to have the upper hand on their opponents. The type of research method used would be quantitative research, and the techniques used would be the questionnaire, as you'll be able to ask the audience on how they want your product, on what they want your product to have, etc. An example of this would be in the future when I'm researching into chocolate advertisement, as from the research I will be able to come up with ideas on how to make my chocolate advert stand out from others. Advertising placement consists of a company or advertiser that produces eye-catching content to sell something. When it comes to advertising, the company takes in consideration of the placement of the product or advertisement. The type of method used would be quantitative research, as the producer would have to consider the audience's age, gender, ethnicity, and how they would react to the project. The techniques used would be questionnaire, as this way it allows the producer to get specific feedback from the audience and how to create the product that they want. I will use this method in the future when it comes to creating my documentary, as I will research into other documentaries and what their style is and how they come across to the audience, such as the mode of address and what sort of camera techniques they use to make their documentary stand out from others. Advertising effects is mainly used to communicate with the audience in a creative way. Advertising is a way of communication that can come in different forms, such as billboards, etc. The main reason for advertising effects is so that they are able to get their message across to the consumer. The type of research used would be quantitative and secondary, and a technique for this would be questionnaires. As from this, the producer will be able to notice what their audience likes and dislikes about their advert. And secondary research, as you're able to research into existing advertisements and what they do to make their own product stand out and how to make yours stand out even more. I've used this method when researching into different camera angles during the multi-camera unit, as I did a lot of research into different types of multi-camera shows and what makes them visually appealing to the audience and how they do it. Production research is when a producer looks into what they need to do to create their product and also doing research into their target audience. For future projects such as the chocolate advertising, I will use this method to find out information on current adverts and how to target specific audience and what type of content I need to include within my own advertisement. Content is what is included in something. This could mean what a certain production may need to have, such as props, cameras, lighting, etc. The method used for this would be primary research, and the technique used is observation, as this way you'll be able to understand your target audience and what they like, etc. I've used this during my music video planning stage, as I was able to present my idea to my peers, where I was able to get feedback from them and also extra ideas on what props to include, such as blow-up dolls. Viability research is something that can have a good amount of success and development. The methods used for this would be quantitative research and primary, and the techniques used would be questionnaires and focus groups. This method has been used in the past when it came to the development stages of our multi-camera show, as everyone in the group had different ideas and we all combined them all together to create a good final outcome for what our show was going to be. Placement media is advertisements in different types of media. This includes research and planning into the target audience and also advertising technique that companies use to promote their products. The type of research methods used would be secondary and quantitative, and the techniques used would be internet research and also surveys. I will use this method when it comes to pitching my idea for my TV advertisement, where I explain what my idea is and what content it will include, such as the message and trying to sell it across to the target audience. Finance is when a large company manages the amount of money that is used during production stages. The type of research used is quantitative, and the type of technique that will be used would be surveys and also numerical data such as pie charts. I've used this method before during the planning stages of previous units such as horror trailer and multi-camera shows and music video, as we was in charge of the amount of money that we needed to spend to make our production complete. Cost is the amount of money that needs to be paid or spent. The type of research used is quantitative, as you will need to manage your money, and the technique used would be managing your cost rate in tables or graphs. I have used this during my music video pre-production stage, as we had to keep to a budget of $99 and make sure not to go over the limit and work out what props we needed for our production. Technological resources are types of software such as text, designs, music, and it allows people to have control over their own ideas. The type of method used would be secondary, as research in past and present products, which allows the researcher to gain knowledge and produce a product that is suitable for their audience. And the technique also used for this would be questionnaire. This method has been used before during our multi-camera show, as we were all assigned different roles, as some were in charge of the graphics operator, where they had to create suitable images and typography for our target audience, which was a British teenage audience. Personnel research is knowing important information about a subject and having to make decisions. The type of research methods used would be primary research, and the technique that would be used is observation and focus groups. Throughout the majority of our units, we have been assigned briefs from organisations such as music video. We were assigned to $99, where we had to meet their requirements on how not to go over a budget of $99 for our own production stage, and in future projects for chocolate advertisement, where we have to promote a new advertisement for an already existing chocolate bar. Location is where the producer decides to place their product, and they may have to take into consideration of the timing of the placement and how they're going to approach obstacles around it, such as public, etc. The type of method used for this would be primary and secondary research, and the techniques would be going out and taking photographs of places that you would like to use for your production. And also secondary research, and a technique for that would be internet, as you are able to search the internet for more places, and also it might come to having to ask permission for certain places. I've used this in previous units such as my music video, as we had to plan on where the suitable locations to film with. Along with this I did risk assessments where I'd analyse and see the hazards of each location. This will also be done in my the planning stages of my chocolate advertising unit.